Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. And thank you for joining. This is going to be pretty cool. I've been getting feedback of people really feeling like they need a reboot right now. And a reboot to our gut, a reboot to our health, but just overall to kind of get our electricity, get plugged in to, again, our awareness of just taking the best responsibility we can of our own health right now. And I'm talking to myself just as well on this video because it's very subtle how things can creep in, how things can start to, we think, okay, we'll just do a little of this, we'll do a little of that, and it'll be okay, and before we know it, we're feeling that lethargicness maybe, or the sluggishness, or just not, our mental focus might not be as sharp as it really can be. And this is a really good reminder today of a conscious living, conscious eating, consciousness with what our thoughts, what are we choosing. And today I also want to talk about colon irrigation, whether it be a colonic, whether it be an enema, whether it be a Kalima board. So I want to, have some discussion around that as well. So actually it was even earlier today, but even the last few weeks, I had some clients that are having a number of health issues. And when I talk about the importance of a clean gut, and I was talking with Matt earlier too today, the brain, our gut really is our primary brain. Okay, the connectors are all the same. And when I was sharing with some people the importance of the pH, the importance of the gut and making some changes, for example, I'll tell you one example, and this is a common one when it comes to the dairy, when it comes to the cheese, when it comes to the meat. There are certain foods taken especially out of moderation and can become very out of balance to the body. It can't metabolize that very well at all, let alone the body's ability to absorb the nutrients start to get clogged with katara. It creates this rubbery substance. So when you're dealing with any level of inflammation in the body, okay, there are issues with too much acid that's in the bloodstream, and also 10 times out of 10 you have parasites. I just can't get away from that ever. When there's a health condition anywhere in the body, there are sacs of parasites somewhere. There might be heartworms. There might be parasites in the brain, in the blood. No matter what it is, the body has to go through detoxification. Years ago, I remember this just really clearly, my first experience personally dealing with colon cleansing and the parasites that were being released out of the body. I was just so mystified by it. Then I was amazed what the body cells started to change. My tissues started to change. My thinking started to change. So, we're all exposed to these toxins. You can never, ever expect wellness with an elevated level of toxicity in the body. We can't expect to have our brains as sharp as they can be if there are levels of toxins in the body. So really today, I want to open up the awareness, especially we get off track. That's common. That can happen. But now we're getting back on track again. This is what we're doing. We're getting a reboot today. And this is so important as we're experiencing the mental fogness, the heaviness, the whether it's the lack of focus, concentration, but the stress of what is going on in the external, people are being impacted by it. People are really feeling it, which means it's even more critical, more important to take ownership of what's going on with your body. And I know in reading the Course in Miracles, it will say you're not your body. Reading different pieces of literature that people put out that your body, we are not our body. I have to say, okay, I could believe that to a degree. Yes, all spirit moves through everything. Our spirit moves through everything. But we are in this physical body on this earth till we take our last breath, whatever that's going to be, unless you're going to become a breatharian, you know, which is kind of a cool idea too. But we got to take care of what this body is. This body is such a reflection of what is going on in our mind and in our soul and in our spirit. It's a reflection of that. It just doesn't happen out of thin air. So as I was talking earlier with some people that I've been seeing here recently, having a lot of inflammation, a lot of health issues, they really don't want to give up something to get a better result. Maybe a little bit I could do it, but not to get that result. So when, you know, close to 40 years ago, or yeah, almost 40 years ago, when I was starting to make dietary changes, when the teacher I was with, her name was Vita, when she said for 6 months, no sugar. For her to work with me, I had to stick with what she was saying to do. So at that time, I was diabetic. At that time, I had so much inflammation in my body. I had Epstein-Barr, rheumatoid arthritis. I had a lot of conditions. And when she said 6 months, no sugar, and no dairy, if it was white, don't put it in your mouth. That could be milk, that could be white flour, that could be anything with yeast. I felt so crappy at that time. My health was so bad. Whatever she said to do, this is what I was going to do. Okay. And it wasn't time for excuses anymore. And that's what, and myself, I'm slipping back into some excuses, and I'm glad to do this video because I want to be held accountable as well, not to have excuses why I'm starting to, you know, get off the track more with what I know. And this is really good for us to, let's see, I can't really see if Matt's going to come on and talk at all, but I like something he just shared with me recently about how important it is for us to become even more intuitive, for us to receive the messages to maybe intentions or prayers that we put out, to receive that information. If we feel so lethargic, if we feel just toxic, having a hard time, you know, functioning, and granted, there are ascension symptoms that a number of us are experiencing right now. There's quite a bit of those that are going on, but what will help to ease that even more so is minimizing the level of toxicity that is in our body. Okay, and it's not too late to, you know, get on and start making some of these changes right now. You whatever it is, we're going to get a reboot today. So I'm going to read to you a couple, what's called food for thought. I'm going to read a few of these. And all you can just kind of contemplate, see, does any of this apply? Is there anything here that will be beneficial and helpful to me? Food for thought. So this is maybe some ideas you could strive for. Eat your food in the spirit of moderation. Okay, if we're going to overindulge, we're the one who's going to pay the price. This isn't the time to overindulge right now. This is a time to get stricter with yourself. And if there are going to be some additional physical limitations to some things that might be put upon us, we need to be healthy. We need to be strong. We need to be willing to take those steps forward with getting ourselves more fit mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Commit yourself to eating nutritionally superior foods. It's easy to just compromise and say, oh, this is going to be the fast and the easiest thing for me to do right now. So what does it take? It takes some planning. It takes some planning ahead. Will we have access and can we afford some of the foods that maybe we were used to having or want to have? So you got to think this out and plan this out ahead of time of what you best can handle or what you best can purchase. Relax before you eat each meal. Remember, good posture counts. I don't know about any of you, but I could stand in the kitchen if I'm getting home late and I can eat something instead of just sitting down, say a prayer, put some good energy into it, give thanks for what you have. Choose and create a healing environment and loving setting for your meals. This isn't the time, some people can eat when they're under stress. That's not me. It's, if anything, my whole metabolism just stops. But the idea to have a healthy, more relaxing environment while you're eating. Plan to eat your meals at regular times of the day. Whoa, what a thought. Having that consistency, even with your metabolism, is really important. Let's say you're not doing that right now. Can you pick a time of day, once a day, you can become more consistent with your eating time, however, when you're preparing your meal. Allow yourself 30 minutes to sit down and stay totally committed to your meal. I love that one. One of my probably second mentors, teachers that I had in Bakersfield, California, that I went to once a month, drove 2 hours for 5 years. And every time before going, he prepared food for me. A lot of it was raw. 30 minutes, we sat down and I had to chew and chew and chew and chew. And when I drank any water, it was after the meal and it had to be slow. It wasn't inhaling it or gulping it down. That improves the whole digestive system as well. So if there are some things, you want to take note and make some changes, in your lifestyle right now, this is a good time to do it. Know when enough is enough. Okay, not to keep eating and eating and eating because it tastes so good and you feel so full. Just know when enough is enough. And we are definitely coming to those times where we don't want to overeat. We don't want to over indulge. Okay, we're going to have to plan out and space out what we really do have and what we want to share with other people. Know when not to eat. Okay, so when not to eat and is late at night. And that's sometimes when I get home, by the time I'm done, it's really way too late to eat. So that's a pattern I can change. What's another pattern you might be able to think of what you can change of what a time would be when not to eat? Cultivate a desire-less food consciousness. I love this. When I was studying over some of these today, thinking, okay, how can I be more mindful to eat less? Whatever the portion would be you typically would eat, can you cut that in half? Could you cut that less than in half? We are heading that way. And I think this is a good practice to start doing some of that now. Appreciate the food you eat. Oh, become so conscious of it, of what it is. Not the processed fake meats, not the processed fake foods. Become more conscious of the foods that are alive. I wrote this down earlier and I like it a lot. Think to live, drink to live, eat to live, work to live, play to live, breathe to live. Be more conscious of that life force energy, of what will support and open that up more for us. Being mindful of what I'm buying, what I'm eating, what I'm preparing. It is to live when there is that much good energy and love that goes into the food we touch and the food we taste. Chew your food slowly. We've gone through this before. Chew your food one bite at a time. Okay? We don't, not to inhale and gorge it down. Enjoy your food and be creative with maybe what you're preparing. Now, what to avoid? Just a few notes on this. Overeating. Becoming a victim of nervous eating habits. That is probably the most common one. When people get nervous, they want to pick and overeat, and then they're going to eat when they're upset, or they eat when there's anxiety, or they feel uptight, or when they're depressed. It's that food, I can promise you, will turn into toxins. It is just already toxic. It takes 20 seconds for the whole bloodstream to go acidic when we're under such stress. So what is the most loving thing to do is have the awareness that, all right, these might be some of my patterns. These might be some of my ways. How can I reboot this within myself today? What can I do to make some different choices about that? What do I have available that could be some healthier options? We are going to pay a bigger price for our poor habits today more than ever. It's fast. What the body can do is decline very fast, but also the body can repair itself very fast if we can become a little more mindful, of what we're putting in and what we're doing. So I just wanted to share a little bit of, just some of these thoughts. Try not to drink with your food. That interrupts the digestive tract. Mixing fruits and vegetables. So let's talk about this a minute, and it's about food combining. All right. So maybe we touched on it in the past, but again, part of the reboot here is I'm just going to give you a little bit of a refresher about food combining. If you have a difficult time with digestion, maybe you have a hiatal hernia, maybe you don't, maybe you have a lot of gas, maybe you have constipation. Food combining is real simple and really easy, and it can make a difference of how you feel. You can just get more energy with food combining. So years ago when Vita said for 6 months, no sugar, and I'd shared before, then I was so addicted to diet Dr. Pepper, peanut M&Ms. And when she said, stop that, I stopped that. When she said, now for 6 months, you're going to do food combining. So vegetables only go with a starch. carbohydrate. So your rice and vegetables, your pasta, your vegetables. You never put a carbohydrate with the meat. The meat can go with vegetables. Okay. But the vegetables go with only the carbohydrates. This is the simple course of food combining. And if you try it, maybe try it for 7 days. It's amazing. You will digest your food a lot easier. And also fruits. Fruits are by themselves, 30 minutes before or after a meal. All melons are by themselves. It will become more toxic and gassy in your system if you mix the fruits with if you mix your melons with the berries or with grapes. Keep the melons by themselves. Your honeydew, your watermelon, your cantaloupe by themselves. Then you can have your other fruits can mix and match in between. So this is a simple, if you want to say, okay, I want to do a little reboot and let's do some food combining for the next 7 days. Why don't you try it? You know what? And give it a chance. I did it for 6 months. My first 6 months involved in natural health and healing. I lost 60 pounds just by doing food combining. So that's a thought that you could do to reboot your health. Another thought that is very helpful, we've mentioned this before, it's intermittent fasting. So you might go 6 at night to 6 in the morning, or 6 at night to 8 in the morning is fasting. There are people who have done so well with this. I know so many people have done so well with this. I know the times I have done it, it was incredible. I really want to get back on that track as well, is going 12 to 14 hours and have nothing in your body and just let your body kind of work and function on its own. So I don't know if some of you have ever tried this before.
Can I add to that real quick? I really, so
Sure.
even the word breakfast, when you look at the etymology of it, breaking the fast. So this intermittent fasting really resonates with me, and I'm seeing a lot of different cultures around the world eat when the sun is at the highest. That's when they will break the fast and eat. The biggest meal of the day is when the sun is above them. And you're exactly right. The way that I see them eating is actually with their hands and sitting very close to the ground, almost in a squatting position. And I just love this. But one of the things that you said early on that just kind of going back is when we were talking last time about the external garden, we were talking about different ways that we can work with our external garden in a magnetic sense. This seems like we're shifting gears and we're looking at it, our internal garden, from an electrical sense. And what you were saying is just, when you keep talking about the mirror reflection, that to me says law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. And I can't help but keep thinking that all these angles, or all this light code that's coming in that we want to receive, we might not be receiving the full code through our gut and through our skin because of these parasites and toxins. Mm-hmm. And then one of the things that I'm kind of doing on the regular is pure cleanse every night, because I'm like everybody else. I'll get busy, have family stuff. Somebody will go and pick up some fast food, and I'll know that there's just not a lot of good magic in that food, but I need it anyway, because I need to take whatever I can out of it, and then I need to push it through my body. So I don't want it hanging around, allowing the other parasites and toxins and mucus to have more of what they want. So this is just it's just connecting. And the other thing that you said is all these things about living. When you look at that word, backwards, it's evil. How do you combat evil? You live and you raise the vibration, and this as within, so without, as above, so below, it's all being reflected inside of our bodies, the way that we're feeling it in our families, in our communities, in our country, in the stars and in the heavens. it's just a fractal of the universe. And so we are what we eat. And that's one of the things that you've been really helping me with, is just putting a lot of positive conscious intention behind what I'm putting in my body, and being mindful of, should I mix, spaghetti, right? Carbs and meat. It's like everybody has that on the regular once a week. And I'm like, that and I feel gassy, and I know what to expect after I have that meal. So you're just bringing a lot of consciousness to thinking about what I'm putting in my mouth. And instead of, actually, I'm grabbing the food now and using my hands to put that in my mouth, because it's just helping me connect more with the food, between that plastic utensil and whatever it is that I'm putting in. The other thing too is just the sugar, Mom. What we've been talking about, the sugar being one molecule different, sugar cane, from cocaine. And then we started looking at that closely, and that just feels fascinating. What the sugar, and we all like sugar. We've grown up with sugar, but like, we don't really know what our relationship truly is with this with this chemical, this neurotoxin, that's very close to cocaine. And I just keep thinking that there's something to that with if we want to get this X-Men power, this psychic energy, and we feel the shamanic resonance of our Mother Gaia raising, we got to raise with it, because we're part of it. And if we're not going to raise with it, we're going to get left behind, and we're going to decay faster, and we're going to deteriorate and be left behind. And I don't want to be, I want to be around for what's coming. I know it's chaotic and crazy, but I'm excited too, because I feel something that I've never felt before. And I digress, and I'll kick it back to you. And I'll just say, those are a few thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. It's, you're bringing up this feeling of, like I was saying, alive. We still, no matter what is going on in the external, we still can make these decisions and choices to feel alive and feel that life force energy that is in us, no matter what. And it's going to get a little hairy coming up, okay? A little bit more and a little bit more. But you know what? You still have access and a free will to make these amazing choices. So you can rely on direct spirit information, your intuition. We are going to need that more and more and more. What blocks it are toxins, parasites, poisons. Parasites, they need food too. What do you think they're getting it from? They're getting it from your good nutrients. They're getting it from parts of your body that maybe we're thriving, but it will go to the weakest areas of your body, and they'll just feed off. And do you know what? Our body releases fecal matter, hopefully every day. Okay. So do parasites. They release fecal matter in the body. Okay. And to flush out these toxins. So that this leads me into, we got to talk about bowels. Okay. The bowels of Mother Earth, the bowels, of this is the seat of where everything gets mixed up, cleaned out, sorted through. Is it going to stay in us? Is it going to leave us? But this has such an impact of our life every day. And I know we talked about everyone eats, everyone has to eliminate, but that process from our mouth to our gut involves a lot. It involves a lot. It's affected by how we feel. What are our habits? What is the stress going on in our system? What, are we avoiding cleaning out our system? So there was a video Matt had shared with me, I thought was just so fascinating. And because I really believe in colonics. I'm back to getting colonics now, and I am thrilled about it. You can do your own home enemas if you want. You could get a Kalima board online, start cleaning your colon. And a lady who has really specialized in that, in colon health as well, she was saying as many years as you're alive, you take that times 15, and that's how many colonics you should be getting. So you could give yourself your own colonic. And here's where people think just by doing a few enemas, a few colonics, and their symptoms are relieved, they're better. No, no. This is when you got to stick with it. I would stick with it for 6 months to a year. I would definitely continue to do this. And there are cases of people who have done liver cleanses, who have done colon irrigation, and they say, oh, nothing's really coming out, you know, I must be pretty clean and blah, blah. And then they stick with it and they find out even 2 years later, it's massive what got released out of the body. So it's the discipline, it's the consistency, it's the commitment to educate yourself, to talk with others, stay in touch with us at the company. You know, we'll support you, we'll help you continue to get rid of the toxins in your body so you could become so clairvoyant, which we all can be, so you can be that intuitive messenger that we all can be too. So nothing came overnight. It's not going to go away overnight. So in the reboot, so you don't set yourself up for failure, maybe say, this is what I want to do in the next 7 days. This is what I'm willing to try. You could do 7, you could do 21, something, but do something that you could commit to that will reboot the cells of your body and your state of consciousness. You will sleep so much better. You will sleep soundly. You'll go into a deeper sleep. You will enjoy your dream state even further when your gut is not in such turmoil. So I would really, really recommend. And again, of course, I'm into working with the herbs. I'm into more the natural health. You just can't go wrong with using the Pure Cleanse and the Parasite. If for some reason we are put in situations where we need to stay for a while, please make sure you have on hand what you need for your bowels to continue to move, for the toxins to continue to leave the body. And speaking of toxins, did you know heavy metals hold memory? Heavy metals, whether we get it internally or we put them on our body or we even have the crystals on our body, carries memory. Memories can go into toxicity. So you want to clean your crystals. You want to have the heavy metals taken out of your body. And I find this so fascinating because if you're holding on to a memory that happened, whether it was 6 months ago, 6 years ago, something that still eats your lunch. Okay, you know what I mean by that? Something that gnaws on you still. I can tell you that is continuing to feed a big fat parasite in you, maybe a bunch of them. Okay, so memories, the kind, loving memories that we can establish, or we can neutralize the negative ones and just accept things without putting it into a category of something. If it was different, I would be better, I would be different. No, we got to make peace with the past. We just have to make peace. And then the body just lets go of the toxicity. I think, let me see if I could go to gallery on here. Yeah, Nancy might still be on the call. Let's see. She went through an amazing process with her gut and with some colonics, and it was tremendous. I really think she's absolutely saved her colon from things that could have really gone so much worse. Marianne, how would you like to share a little bit? Wow, I didn't know you were on. Mary Ann has specialized in homeopathy and just phenomenal practitioner, has worked with and helped just hundreds of people all over. I would love to hear your input on the topic, what we're talking about with the reboot, but with toxins.
Hi. With the toxins. Well, you know, we're constantly having to battle toxicity. Even if we lead the cleanest life, we eat organic, we're still breathing. You know, more mercurial issues are constant. And so I've been using the Pure Cleanse in my practice, you know, for what, 30 years, something like that. But it's a basic because even as a homeopath, using energetic medicine and shifting the energy and moving things through the body, we still, like you said earlier, are in these physical forms. And the physical body needs to be nourished all the time. So I'm with you. I mean, I think I'm with you. I think you do this. I take Parasite. I've been taking Parasite, I don't know how long. I can't even think anymore, but every single night I have it like at a stand where I go and do my evening stuff. And every single night I take 3 capsules. And it's like a staple because I feel like with the clay and everything, the wormwood and everything that's in it, if there's any input that can be something that wants to hang on to me, that product is going to help push through it. And then it helps the awareness, like you said, as the body is clean and the energy is moving through you, your awareness is heightened. So you might be inclined to take more of it for a few days or pull back a little bit and focus on something else. So it's huge, you know, as far as moving the body. You know, when the energy moves as a homeopath, everything is moving in harmony. So that's what, you know, that work is about. But again, the colon is like your basic, right? It's where everything begins. And if there's any stagnation in the colon, it's going to emanate through the rest of the body, including, you know, the thoughts go into that area as well. So clean mind, clean body, clean body, clean mind. So absolutely with that.
I love that. It's you can't separate that in any which way. And I mean, oh gosh, I know you've worked with people for so long. What are some of the examples you could say you could tell such a difference when they become more engaged and mindful in taking care of their body?
Well, the biggest thing, I think all of us will agree that when we start taking care of ourselves, it's a learning curve, and it takes, like you said, and, you know, perseverance pretty much. And that's actually a yogic philosophy. I'm a yoga therapist as well. And that's what we always say. You just got to keep on committing yourself every morning to get on that mat, sit in meditation. And then you just keep on doing it. And then it's like your body too, right? You keep on taking the Pure Cleanse. It's like a ritual, right? It's a spiritual ritual to stay committed to taking care of yourself. And it just over time, and maybe some quick time or maybe not quick, maybe really long. It really depends on the person. But what I find in my practice with all of this, with the yoga, with the product, and with homeopathy, is that people start becoming aware of their beingness. Not so much who they are and what they are, but it's their beingness. And as a being in this body, we start seeing things before we need to see them. And I call it being proactive instead of reactive. I was just sharing this with a client today. He's newer, and I said, you know, eventually what we want to do is we want to intuitively feel that there's something I need to do for my body before it is a have to, right? And that's where I feel like I've been carrying your products for 30 years, and it's a staple for people who, you know, just a baseline. It's a baseline. It's the simplest thing to do. And I find that people's adherence is really well because they start feeling better. And if they quit doing the things and they start feeling worse, it's like, oh, okay, you're doing this, and then, oh no, okay, well, let's just go back to that and start there. And on all levels of our being, there's really not much output that you need. You know, you're just, it's really a beautiful thing to have it all so simple, you know, like you said, we're in such a time, we're in an age now where we need to be on top of it. And if we're not clean and clear, it's a rough world right now for people. I mean, those who haven't chosen yet, you know, that favorite saying, I learned that from one of your groups was, the chosen is those who have chosen. So it's like nobody's out. It's just, you have to choose.
I
right?
like that.
So it's a challenging time for that.
Oh, Marianne, thank you. That was so good. And I like what you said too, that so we can hear and feel things before they come. Okay, we really can. We can tap into that. And it's and the more we're in that alignment with ourself and what's around us, this is the communication we are going to have soon to rely on. Is our intuition and our way of communicating with each other. I have no doubt about it at all. Thank you so much, Marianne. Linda, Lou, are you able to show your face? Are you able to talk? I'd love to get your feedback a little bit. Let's see if she can come on or not. And then how about we'll jump over to you, Paul.
Okay, can you see me now?
Oh, there. Okay.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I've been going through some stuff with concussions in my shoulder. I'm facing surgery soon because I tore my rotator cuff. I've been doing CBD, the tinctures, and elixirs, and it's been really, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Great.
And
we'll work on moving more toxins, you know? They come in many levels, in many layers. And life happens, right, Linda?
Yeah.
Life happens.
That's like postal carrier. There's so many obstacles in my way, from COVID to everything. And so I have to deal with these elements all the time. And so I'm doing my best, and your products are amazing. I think that's what really keeps me healthy compared to my comrades, because I have not had anything happen since the beginning of COVID. And I caught it early in that March when it first happened in 2019. And I guess March 2020. And I've been so healthy, but I wear my mask everywhere. I wear it to the store. I wear it to work. I wear it all the time. And sometimes I'm the only person, but that's okay. You have to do what you feel to do for you. And that's what we all have to do, you know, is what is it that we feel best to take care of ourselves right now? Yeah. Whatever that is. It has been my savior, from the elixir to the bites. It's definitely helped me through everything. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thanks. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for sure. Yeah. This will be good. Yeah. And I'm so glad I'm off to actually talk. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to jump around. I'd like, Nancy, can you share, what results you got? Because you had some colon situations and you did
made some major changes and working with, taking the enemas, and wow, that was really a big deal what happened. And I
Yeah.
really think you saved your colon. I really do.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I started out, I think sometime in the spring, and I did a 5-day colon cleanse, which includes psyllium and bentonite clay and various fasting herbs and things like that. And then I followed that up with a gallbladder liver cleanse a month and a half to 2 months after that. And so things are progressing pretty well now.
So the direct effect on cleaning the liver and the gallbladder has an impact to every organ of the body, especially in the colon area as well. I mean,
Right.
And you stuck with it. You stayed aggressive. You kept studying. You kept looking at, what do I need to do next? It was pretty amazing.
Yes, it was. And I'm planning to do another liver gallbladder cleanse within this next month, and maybe a couple more before the end of the year, because I think that was pretty remarkable to have done that. So
that was significant. Wow.
Can I ask Nancy a question?
Sure.
I'm kind of seeing like a through line with this. That there's a metaphysical component, not just a physical component, but the metaphysical, in that when you lose weight, you might also lose that genetic memory of whatever that trauma and drama was. So my question to Nancy is, from a metaphysical standpoint, have you been able to not just see the results physically, but has there been an emotional component to this, or something else that's helped you tap into some past trauma, drama that you're finally allowing your body to release?
actually, yes, I've had a few different things that I've been working on, because I've been practicing Reiki for one thing, and so I'm getting some benefit from that. I've also been using this little device that it's in the frequency of between infrared and microwave. It's called terahertz, and I've been using that, and I've been seeing really good results with that as well. And I've also been going to this little church locally. It's called Unity Church, and I'm finding that's helping as well. So, and in addition, I have had memories coming up, and I've been able to not be attached to them. And so that's been really beneficial, to just bring them up and look at them and let them go, instead of pushing them back down.
Wow. Good question, Matt. Nancy, that is awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of more, it's a bit of a holistic approach, where I could use a little more discipline is in my sugar habits, because I've been having issues with that again. But I ebb and flow in it anyway. So
That is good.
That's really great. One of the things that we were looking at today is the human body at a when it rests, it has in the blood sugar 5 grams of sugar. And that's really interesting, because it's 5G and 5 grams of sugar. And so what I'm thinking is that when our sugar spikes and our blood becomes more acidic and more susceptible to electricity, that it's hard to draw any real conclusions with this, but like, I think it's all related. So like this sugar thing.
So the higher levels of sugar that's found in the blood, when the 5Gs are activated, has a pretty intense effect on people. And that's just some of the things they're finding out more and more. So that is all the more good reason, no matter what, to keep the levels of what we intake with sugar down. But the effects of it, as far as toxins go, and the EMF waves, we're affected by it. We just are,
right.
I could tell such a difference. Okay, even without the 5G, just even for children, when they get too much sugar and, they have these temper tantrums, they have these fits, they feel more anger, they feel more uptight, you know. It's a drug. It can really, really be a drug that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will depress me. It doesn't take much. That's why I personally have to watch that intake. It's like a drug. It takes me down the next day, takes me down. And it's not, you know, doesn't feel good that way. I could tell you're thinking, Paul, what are you thinking?
Hi there. Oh yeah, this whole class I've been just soaking it up, and also it's bringing me to thoughts. Like it brought me to As a Man Thinketh again, and how our thoughts are affecting our body and our body's affecting our thoughts. And when Matt asked that question about, you know, at a metaphysical point, it's everything's linked together. And we've talked about this too, Judy. And I just wanted to read something very quick. This was on As a Man Thinketh. It says, effect of health, or the effect of thought on health and the body. The body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they can be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. So that, thinking that, what I'm wanting to get into the habit of is asking this question, and it's actually from a book I'm studying right now. It's Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. But there's a question in here that it's, if I love myself truly and deeply, would I let myself do this? Or would I let myself eat this? Or would I let myself experience this? And that's a good question that kind of brings me back online. If you get into habitual patterns of, you know, whatever that may be, might be food, you know, what's my body telling me rather than what's my tongue want, you know, like what's that taste? So this is kind of not triggering, but it's bringing up a lot of thoughts, and just staying conscious with what we're doing here. And what you're doing is raising awareness to all of this. And it's just everything's just linking together, and just staying conscious and following your intuition with these choices that we're doing. And one thing I wanted to bring up is that in order to strengthen your intuition, you have to realize you have one, and also start paying attention to it more. And I do that by, you know, if you're getting an impulse to call someone, you call them. You know, if you feel like, you know, your brain might want you to eat this, but your intuition's telling you don't, you know, and you're just getting that relationship together. It's very helpful. So
that is, I'm really glad you're sharing that, because making that conscious connection, anybody on the call here, Paul is also a life coach. He works with people and helping them on changing their old paradigms to creating the new paradigms that you want to create. And you see the connection this makes with people when they start to become more mindful of their choices, and then seeing the difference that it will take in their body, it'll take in their life. I mean, it's inseparable. But we're free. We're free to be and to make these decisions and choices for our betterment. We're not in a prison, and we're not trapped. I mean, we are these rich spirit beings. We are so abundant on many, many levels. But we can, you know, if you listen to the news, okay, and if you listen to people who are more fear driven, you'll just go into the little cocoon, you know, you just, what do I want to say? Disintegrate, you know, or atrophy. Okay. And yet, don't you want to develop more cells faster than you're breaking them down? You know, just and I like what Nancy was saying too. Okay, a little of this, we do this, we do this, and you know, from the Reiki to we have many tools. We have many opportunities that can work with many different people. And that's what I like. There's a variety of food choices. What was that book, Matt, that I gave you? It's about food and spirituality. You know, it's everything is vibration, and we can change it. We can make these shifts at any time along the way, when we're ready, when we want it. What is the name? Yeah. Spiritual Nutrition, the Rainbow Diet. This is such a good book too. And you'll get ideas about, again, what will be some things you're going to want to change and do as well. So does anyone else have any other thoughts or anything they want to share before the end of the call?
I got one more thing. So Marianne was saying that this is kind of like her go-to to help people realize that they're more than just their 5 senses. We keep talking about intuition, and that's the third eye, the sixth sense or whatever. And I just keep thinking that we have to, well, we're talking about our gut, but we're also talking about decalcifying our pineal gland, because there's a sacred secretion in the body. And I think we're all aware that we're made in the image of the Most High, and we're God bodies. And the sacred secretion, in order for it to do its thing and go from the pineal down the spine, from the left kidney to the right kidney back up, for all that to work, for that to happen, we have to have a working vessel, a working spacesuit. And if, you know, so everyone's kind of coming at it a little bit differently, but we're all trying to ultimately raise our vibration, because we feel the vibration of Mother Gaia raising it 7.3 hertz, but it's going up. We have to raise with it, because we have a heart, and that heart, when you rearrange the letters, is earth, and we're connected to the earth. So like, I'm just blown away by all the goodness that's coming through right now.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, that's great, Matt. Anybody else want to say anything before we sign off? This was a great class. You know, I love the sharing. Hey, do you see this lady behind me on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called Make a Wish. This is from Oren and Matt, and it was given to me on my birthday recently. And it's by a Cherokee man who painted it, and it's so amazing. Make a wish. And it's a reminder to me every day, what wish do I want to make today? Make a wish for yourself today. What is it that you would like to make a shift or a change in your life? And believe in the wishing, believe in opening up to imagine something even greater and better for yourself for tomorrow. But that means you make that wish, you set that intention for today. And that's what we all can do. And I would invite you to all do that. You know, whatever it is, it could be small, it could be big, you know, it doesn't matter. But what matters is think outside of the box. We are creators. We can keep creating the best life, no matter what, for ourselves. That is, whatever is going on outside, we can go inside and reboot anything we want to reboot and change now. So I just want to thank everybody joining on the call and your participation. It's just great. And I hope you all have just a wonderful evening, and we're going to do this again soon.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Good to
Thanks,
see
Judy.
you.
Good to see you too. Bye.